In this video, I'm going to showcase my complete in-box Commodore SX-64, also known as the Executive 64 computer. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. So here is the outside shipping box. There is an internal box inside this box, which I'll show you momentarily, that's in excellent condition. But this box here is what would have went to distributors back in the day that were selling the Commodore SX-64. On the outside of the box was this little envelope here, and I've removed it off of my box forever ago. But in that envelope were these three cards. The important, this envelope contains blah, 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 the distributor's card, the distributor sales record, dealer sales record. So basically the distributor would have filled out this card, and then the dealer that was selling it would have filled out this card. But apparently for my particular machine, that process wasn't done. I am not the original owner of this SX-64, but I have owned it 15, 20 years now at this point. And back when I got it, I didn't think about asking about those specific details. But now, all this time later, here we go. Here we can see I pulled the inner box out of the outer shipping box. And they're pretty much the same box, except this top inner box is a little bit smaller so it can fit inside the shipping box. So back in the day when you would have bought this machine, the distributor would have taken out this top box out of the bottom box, and this is what you would have bought right here. Let me turn this thing around here. On the side of the box, it shows you SX-64. Apparently it was from Philadelphia with the machine serial number. And I'll show you that on the back of my machine in the next clip. But yeah, so it's really cool that I have the inner box, the main box, as well as the shipping box. It's not too often that you see that. That's part of why I wanted to showcase this in my video. Next up, I'll show you what would have come inside the box. Opening up the box would reveal the machine encased in this foam on each side of the SX-64. Obviously my machine is out of the box, so you're not seeing that right now, but I just wanted to show the side of the foam. Look at that, it's embossed with the Commodore Chicken Lips logo, SX-64. So this is one piece of the foam that would go around the machine. Here is the other piece, and it also has the SX-64 Chicken Lips logo on there. So that's pretty nifty. And of course, the machine would be sitting in here. The machine would also be in this plastic bag. And since I use my machine on a regular basis, I do not keep it in the box. But I do have all the packing material. Here is a foam piece that would go around the handle. And here is a cardboard piece that would go inside the little carry pouch, which you'll see here soon. And I do have the bag for the power cord, and I think it's in the bigger bag. So now I'm going to show the machine and the serial number matching the box. Okay, I just looked. There's the original gray power cord and the bag for the power cord. I just wanted to show that real quick. Now on to show the serial number on the back of the machine matching the box. Once again, here is the serial number on the side of the box, which is GA1040935. We'll move on over here to the back of my machine. And here we go, GA1040935. So this is the matched machine to the matched box. And what other information have we got on here? We can show you. This machine was manufactured October of 1984. And on the back of the machine, we've got the controller ports for joysticks, external video, serial port if you want to hook up a printer or an external disk drive. You've got the user port where you plug in the power cord, the fuse, and the on and off button. You'll notice on the back of this that there is no tape port. And that was done by design because the SX-64 has a built-in disk drive, a built-in 1541 disk drive. So next up, a couple more things that would have been in the box, and then the full-on tour of the machine. Inside the box, you would have gotten the power cord, which I showed you that a minute ago. You would get the user manual, and I have that, and the bag that came in, as well as the Commodore SX-64 carry bag. This is a zippered bag, and it's got a velcroed handle here on the back that you can wrap around the handle or whatever, and it's got zippers that go all the way around and to the other side, so you can store discs and cables and software and that kind of stuff in here. What a lot of people don't know, with this pouch there are two brownish black boxes that you should have in yours, and I've got those because, again, I got this complete in box. So let me pull those out really quick and I'll show you that. I've gone ahead and opened up the zipper pouch and pulled out one of the black brown boxes I was telling you about. They're basically just like a 5 1/4 floppy disk box that you would have held blank floppies in. And there's two, this one in the top part, there's another one in the bottom. They just kind of stand on top of each other. Inside my top box, I keep my SX-64 test demo disc. This is the disc that would have come with the machine. On the back of the envelope here, it tells you all the do's and don'ts with floppy disks. Don't put them by magnets, don't bend them, don't put them in too hot or too cold, that kind of stuff. So yeah, fortunately for me, when I got this machine 15-20 years ago, everything that it was supposed to come with, it came with. I'm 99.9% sure I've got all the pieces that would have come in a brand new machine. If you feel I'm missing something or know of something that's missing that you don't see, let me know in the comments below. Next up, I'm going to hook up the machine and start showing you some more details of how the machine works, the keyboard cable, cartridge port, etc. Hold on and we'll get that set up. Here's a shot showing the front of the machine. This is a cover that covers the screen as well as the disk drive, but it's also the keyboard. There's two clips here, clip here, that hold the keyboard in place. You just push the button and push the button there and you can pull it down. Let me do that real quick. I'll be right back. Another reminder of why I need to be putting my phone on a tripod so I can use both hands. So I've already lowered the keyboard down. You'll notice there is a piece of foam right here. That's something that should also be with an SX-64. A lot of them are missing that, but this is to protect the keyboard as well as the screen and the disk drive. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that down. So I got that pulled down, and it reveals the screen, the disk drive, and a little storage compartment. And in there I've got the keyboard cable. You'll notice right up in there I've got a switch that I've done. That's for a modification for JiffyDOS, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, up here is this little storage bay. Here is the original keyboard cable. This part plugs underneath the machine. There's a port under there. And this end right here plugs into the keyboard. So let me go ahead and do that, and we'll get this going. Oh, one other thing. On the disk drive here, I also have the disk transfer card. This is the original disk transfer card. Protects the head. Remove for operation. Head vibration protection, use when in transit. So yet another piece that you should have with your SX-64 if you're trying to complete it and have everything be original. And I guess while I've got this open here, let me give you another little poke here. Here's a little door. And in here are all the controls for your volume and your vertical hold, your contrast, your sub-bright, brightness, color, tint, and there's also a reset button right here, reset button there. That is to reset the disk drive. So okay, let's go ahead and get all this hooked up and start showing you how this thing works. Before people ask in the comments, yes, this does have both blue discs on the handle. There is the one on the left side. Come over here. Here's the one on the right side. So that's something else that I've got that you should have on your machines. While we're looking at it, here is the cartridge port. This is where you plug in ROM cartridges. They just plug in right here. It's a little dust protector. The speaker is right here for the sound. And it's got the 5-inch color screen. Something to note, This SX-64 was the first portable color computer that came out in 1984, and it weighs somewhere around 23 to 26 pounds. It's pretty heavy. If you had two of these, you could do some weightlifting. But now, let's go ahead and we'll turn the machine on. I got it already plugged in. We'll reach around the power switches here. We'll reach around, turn it on, and it'll take a second for the screen to warm up. And there it is. If you see any rolling on the screen, that is just an artifact of my camera. That is not happening in person. But when you first turn on the screen, you'll see SX Basic 2.0, 64K RAM, 38911 bytes free. Compared to a stock, well not stock, but a standard Commodore 64 bread bin or a 64C, you'll notice the colors are different. Got a white background and kind of a light blue cyan border. Commodore did that to make it easier for contrast on your eyes when you're using the machine. So yeah, right now, stock, an SX would, let's see, there we go, would boot to that screen. But a little while ago, I talked about doing a JiffyDOS mod with this little switch here. And JiffyDOS is a kernel mod. So if I go ahead and if I flip the switch towards me, it puts it in JiffyDOS mode, but for that to take place, we have to turn off the machine. I always like to wait a couple of seconds before turning it back on. Turn it back on, and you'll notice now the screen says JiffyDOS version 6.01, copyright 1989 by CMD. Still, you know, the basic V2, still got 64K, still has 3891 bytes free. But with JiffyDOS, what that does, it's a kernel modification. It gives you some extended DOS commands. It'll also speed up loading of a disk drive. So the machine would have to have JiffyDOS kernel as well as the disk drive upgraded with JiffyDOS, which mine has. So, you know, it just increases the load time, gives you some extra wedge commands, which are really cool. So what I'm going to do now is grab my 1541 test demo disc, and I'm going to load that up. All right, let's grab my SX-64 test demo disc, put that in the disk drive like so. I went ahead and made sure that JiffyDOS is up and going. So instead of typing load quote $ quote $8 to bring up the directory, all I have to do here is press F1. So hitting F1, and it's loading the disk directory. And for the sake of this little presentation, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the Christmas demo. Another little awesome thing about JiffyDOS is I can just hit \, return, and it's going to load that program. We'll go ahead and type run. It's going to come up with some little instructions here on the Christmas demo. I'm going to tell it to run continuously, so we'll hit R for run. It's going to load it, and with JiffyDOS, it's going to load pretty darn quick compared to the stock 1541. If I remember right, it takes about a minute and a half to load it without JiffyDOS, but with JiffyDOS it should be done here in probably the next 5 or 10 seconds. So we'll just kind of hang out for a minute. Boom, there it is. All right, it's already loaded. The Executive 64, press any key to start. So we're going to go ahead and hit start. And turn up some volume here. You're going to hear some snow and wind. Well, you won't hear the snow, but you'll see the snow falling. You can hear the wind. Snow is falling. Commodore logo shows up, and they messed up. The red is on the top. It's supposed to be on the bottom, but that's okay. And it'll say Season's Greetings from Commodore, and it's going to start playing Christmas music. Here we go. Let's turn that down a little bit. So you see it's snowing, sprite graphics, Christmas music, really fun and neat. So that is the Christmas demo in April. We're doing the Christmas demo in April. So we're going to go ahead and just hit run stop when this one song is over, and I'll show you the cartridge port next. The last thing to show off is the cartridge port on the SX-64. You want to make sure the machine is turned off when you're inserting a cartridge or removing a cartridge. And for this little short part of the video, I'm going to use my Centipede by AtariSoft game cartridge. Go ahead and plug that in. Turn on the machine. Take a couple of seconds for the screen to warm up. And there is Centipede. 1983 Atari. Pretty fun game for the Commodore 64. So with that, I'm going to wrap up this video. One thing to note, I did talk about JiffyDOS for the SX-64. I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description to where you can order that for your machine if you want, and some other nifty Commodore 64 accessories. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Click the bell notification for future updates. And if there's something that I missed about the SX-64, please comment below and let me know. If you've got a machine, I'd like to hear about that too. Thanks for watching and have a great day.